Okay, we're going to be going over some of I've got right on here on my computer the screen, and hopefully you can see the video easily enough. I'm just going to be talking you through some of these coordinate geometry proofs. The three different formulas you're going to need to know are the distance formula, your slope formula, and the midpoint formula for the examples that I'm doing. Try to follow along. If you have graph paper, that's awesome. If you don't, you can pause the video and try them on your own and then check it with me. If you have any questions, you can always message me or email me, and I will help as much as I can. So some of the things that we're looking at here are parallelograms. But I also, at the end, I'm going to talk to you about some of these other, like a rectangle, a square, trapezoid, any kind of triangle like isosceles and equilateral, because those are definitely going to be in the assignments that you have for this week. And I am not going to be going over the circle at all. We're getting into that later on. I'm not worried about that at this point. If you look down here, some of the steps that we're going to be doing is actually drawing and labeling our graph first. We're going to be kind of labeling the sides and the slopes according to what we need. If we're trying to prove that something is perpendicular, then we need the slopes. If we're trying to prove that something's parallel, we're going to need the slopes. If we're trying to prove that four different sides are congruent, then we need to make sure that we know the distances. And we're just going to be looking at whatever's required for whatever shape we're trying to prove. And we're going to be needing to make sure that we know each of the formulas that are necessary to do it and to be able to show our work. So hopefully this is going to help you. If you look at this for parallel and perpendicular lines, it says if AB is parallel to CD, the slope of AB and the slope of CD are the same. So any parallel lines are going to have the exact same slope. If you remember rightly, any perpendicular lines are going to have the opposite reciprocal slope. So if it's negative, it's going to be positive. If it was positive, then it's going to be negative. And not only that, it's also going to be flipped. So if it was 1/2, it's going to be 2. If it's 3/4, it's going to be 4/3, and so on. For slope, to be able to figure out what the slope is, you're looking at how much is it going up or how much is it going down over how much is it going to the right. The change of your x's, or the change of your y's over the change of your x's. Okay, so midpoint formula is another one that you're going to use, and it's basically just being able to find the exact middle of a line. And I think a lot of people get this confused with the distance formula because you're not just finding the distance of the line, you're actually adding the positive and negatives together. You're not finding the distance of the line. So if you had a -3 and a 4, you're not going to say, well, the distance is 7. You're going to add them together and it's going to equal 1. So that would be for when you're adding them together, you're taking into consideration their signs, and then you're dividing that by 2. Same with the y's, and once you do that, that gives you the midpoint. Okay, for the distance formula, we use this quite a bit. It's very similar to the Pythagorean theorem. You do the x's, you do the distance, the actual distance of your x's, and you square it, and the distance of your y's, and you square it, and then you take the square root of that answer. Okay, so here's some practice ones, and I'm going to be doing it right here with you on a whiteboard. So it says graph AB with coordinates, I got to make this a little bit bigger. Okay, graph AB with coordinates -2, -5, so -2, -5. Okay, I'm going to be doing it right here. That's A. And 6, -1 is B. So I'm going to graph CD is -1, 3. That's C. And D is 2, -3. Sorry. Okay, 2, -3. That's D. So I have this line and I have this line, and we want to see if they're parallel or perpendicular or neither. So let's look at this first line AB, and you're looking at the point was -2, -5. That's a 2, by the way. This one was 6, -1. So if I'm going from, okay, how much is it going up and how much is it going over? It's going up 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is going up 4 and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that was, hopefully you can see this, up 4 and over 8, which is a slope of 1/2. So what we're looking for is this one. If it's to be perpendicular, it has to be the opposite sign, which would be negative, and it would have to be flipped, which means it would have to be -2. So let's see if that works. This is going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is going down 6, and it's over 3, which would be, look at there, -2. So if I have this line, which is 1/2 slope, and this is a -2 slope, those two lines are perpendicular. So if I'm trying to prove that something's a square or a rectangle or a right triangle, any of those that have perpendicular corners, I would need to know how to do this. Okay, let's look at another one. For A, it's -1, 4. B is 2. Is that 2? That's 2, 6. 2, 6. That's B. And then I have 1, 0 and 4, 2. That's CD. So if you look at this one, this is going up 2 and over 3. That's the slope of that line. This one's going up 2 and over 3. So since they have the exact same slope, they're going to be parallel, which is going to be important if I'm trying to prove that opposite sides are parallel in a parallelogram or in a square or a rectangle or a rhombus, or even having one set of parallel lines in a trapezoid. I'm going to need to know this, looking for sets of parallel lines. Okay, so let's do a quick refresher on some of the types of quadrilaterals. Sorry. For the quadrilaterals, you have your basic, any kind of quadrilateral is any four-sided polygon. And as you go farther down this hierarchy of shapes, just like we talked about last week, you're basically getting more and more specific. So you have, it's getting into a parallelogram, which has two sets of parallels, two sets of parallel lines, and even a more specific parallelogram would be a rectangle, a rhombus, or a square. All of those are parallelograms, but they're more specific. This one having right corners, but not all the same length sides. A rhombus being that it has all four of the same sides, but they don't necessarily have to have all 90-degree angles. And this one having both combined. They have four right angles, they have four equal sides. So this is the most specific shape you can get. On this other hand, you have a trapezoid. Instead of having two sets of parallel lines, it only has one. And if it's isosceles, it means that the two legs are, you have your two bases and the two legs would be the same length. Okay, let's keep going. So definition of a parallelogram is that they have two sets of parallel lines. So here's one set, here's another set. So when you're looking, the formula that you want to use to be able to prove parallelogram would be your slope. You really want to look at your slopes to see, are my opposite sides parallel? There are, if you remember from last week, there were 6 different things that you could do to prove a parallelogram. It was including angles and stuff. We're not really getting into that with the coordinate grids, but it did two sets of parallel, opposite sides are parallel, opposite sides are congruent. It also has that the diagonals can bisect each other. There's more than one way to do this. I'm mostly concerned that if you can do finding opposite sides are parallel and opposite sides are congruent, you're good. I'm not too worried about the diagonals, even though you should be able to do that. This is about the same thing. So let's look at an example here, actually proving that this is a parallelogram. So I'm going to take, just like we did, I'm going to graph all four. I'm going to do -3, 0, -5, 7. This is K and this is L. Then I have 3, 5. This is M. And N is 5, -2. So you have this, which looks like a parallelogram, but trust me, never assume. I've thought by looking at them that they were parallelograms or that they were squares, and I was off because it looks like it, but it's not necessarily. So you want to basically, I think the easiest step to do always is to find your slopes of each line, because that will help you even if you're trying to find the distance as well. So right here, this is going down 2, so -2 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, -2, 8, -2 over 8. This is also going -2, -2 over 8. So far those are parallel. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, -7 over 2. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over 2, -7 over 2. So that would prove that it's a parallelogram just right there. Okay, I found the slopes. I see that the opposite sides are parallel, and if I wanted to write that down as mathematically, you don't have to turn into me any of the graphs. If you want, you can turn in work like this, where it just says AB, okay, and you can even put that you're putting the slopes, AB, BC, CD, DA, and, oh, and I did the wrong letters, haha. Okay, so let's see, let's try this again. K, L, L, M, M, N, and N, K. If I did, K, L is -7/2, and so is M, N. L, M is -2/8 or -1/4. -1/4. Sorry, my writing is pretty bad on this. And right here, you would just put 2 sets of parallel lines, because that is what is going to prove that it's a parallelogram. That would be right here. This would be all you have to show for your work. Okay, let's look at another one. With this one, I'm gonna kind of just show you right here. This would be up 1 and over 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 1/4. This one is also 1/4. This one is -1, 2, 3 and over 2, and -3 and over 2. So that also, by looking at the slopes, is a parallelogram. Okay, this is getting into other ways to prove it, but I'm about out of time. For the distance formula, what I would like to just go through real quick. Let's say I wanted to find the distance of all these lines. I can use the numbers that I found for the slope, the 2 and the 8, and those are going to be, so LM, the distance of it, is going to be the square root of 2 squared plus 8 squared, and I can just use those exact same numbers. That's why I say finding the slope of your lines is a really good first step always. And that would be the square root of 4 plus 64 or the square root of 68. And then I can kind of look, this one's also going to be a square root of 68, so these are the same length. This one is going to be the square root of 49 plus 4, because these two squared, which is 53, and these are both going to be the same. So that's just a kind of a heads up. If you're doing the distance formula, use the numbers that you did for your slope, not the reduced form, just your first initial slope that you found. And I'm about ready to be cut off because I'm about at 15 minutes. So if you have any questions, message me or email me, and I will get back to you. Thank you.